This is the Universal Audio Dream 65, which has been out a while, and since I first heard about it, I wanted to see how it compares to the Fender Tone Master for direct recording. The UA Dream 65 has been met with a lot of praise for its sound and feel, and a number of complaints about everything from its price to the lack of certain features and its somewhat dodgy Bluetooth implementation. And while I completely agree the lack of things like an XLR out is a bit of a head scratcher, well, today I'm focusing solely on how its sound compares to the Tone Master for direct recording. Because the Tone Master, in addition to being a solid live amp, is an excellent direct recording device. Now, I found the built-in IRs to sound about as good as the amp mic'd up and very, very close to how it sounds in the room. When I play live, I always have the sound company use the line out for that very reason. Now, keep in mind, my Tone Master has been upgraded to the blonde specs through both the firmware update as well as swapping the Neo Jensen speaker, which I didn't like at all, for a Celestion Neo Creamback. And the firmware updates the IRs to those based on the Celestion, with two mic sim options. Now, today I'll be using Sim 1, which is based on the Shure SM57. For the UA Dream, I'll be using the speaker sim based on a Celestion Greenback, which seems to be the closest option to the Tone Master. Now, the UA Dream does offer 6 speaker emulations, including a 2x12 and a 4x10, and more on those later. Now, I'd heard the UA Dream struggles to achieve the kind of clean headroom some people associate with the Deluxe Reverb, so I'll explore that first. But before I do, just let me say, after having played quite a few Deluxe Reverbs on stage, well, they're not an amp I associate with clean headroom. In fact, when the backlines offered the choice, I would usually use the Deluxe precisely because it tends to break up beautifully at manageable volume levels. That said, we'll see what sort of clean sounds we can get from both. Now, I'd read the UA Dream has a very scooped sound, and that's especially apparent at the cleanest settings. Part of the Tone Master firmware update eliminates the virtual bright cap, and I have to say it sounds quite a bit sweeter to my ears when playing clean. Well, as you can hear, I was able to get them reasonably clean by turning way down. So let's crank them up a bit. as expected, cranking them a bit softens the highs, though I think the highs still have more sizzle on the UA Dream. So finally, let's see how each responds to a little Klon-style overdrive. Now, I never use a purely clean bass tone when using this type of drive, so we'll start with each one about halfway up. Well, obviously this test was a very long way from exhaustive, and there's a whole lot more I could do, including testing all those speaker emulations I mentioned earlier. The 2x12 and the 4x10 options are well worth exploring, providing some helpful mid-range. But keep in mind, very few are going to watch an hour of this. If there's enough interest, I'll plan part 2. Well, the UA Dream is a very nice sounding Deluxe Reverb emulator, and I'd be tempted to toss it in my gear bag as a backup should something go wrong with my amp. Now, I think it works quite well for direct recording and has way more options than the Tone Master. Overall, though, I still prefer the feel, balance, and response of the Tone Master. The UA Dream is just a little too scooped, although with all of its features, such as the different boost modes and extra speaker sims, it shouldn't be tough to find more mids. And obviously, if direct recording is your focus and you don't need the combo amp, well, the UA Dream is a fraction of the Tone Master's price. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's exploration. Let me know if you'd like to see more on this subject. And in any event, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you again very soon.